Yeah, so that's the thing. When I am good at something, it doesn't mean that that is my calling. So in the 32 different jobs and businesses, I was good at many of them. So even for insurance, financial advisory, I was MDRT, $1 million roundtable, earning very good money, but I just died inside. Every time I go and say, hey, let me talk about your finances, I was so good at it, but I died inside every time. So it doesn't mean that when you're good at something, you should pursue it, especially when your boss, your family members, or your friends tell you about it, it most likely is wrong. The only person that can tell you what you're good at is yourself. And it's something inside here that it sparks a joy inside. There's a fire inside that you don't even create the fire. Fire is already there, you just fan it. And all of us have different fires. For you, probably is the speaking. Right? For me, it's something about personal development, hacking things. And yeah, so you just have to fan it, but you gotta find it first.
And it's sometimes so hard to find it when there's so many different voices around you saying, you should choose this path, you should choose that path. How do you decide to continue fanning your fire and ignore the people around you?
So it was a bit rebellious. Even when I was 18, when I went to army, I was trying to do stocks and option trading and all that. So I'll sneak in a laptop and then, not allowed. So I sneak in a laptop and then I was trying to do that. Then in the last 15, 20 years, I just kept trying different things. And the thing about it, if I give a best analogy, when it comes to which career is best for you, think of your own dressing or fashion last time. When you were younger, when I say primary school or secondary school, what kind of dressing were you in? Oh, you thought this was good for you. But then after a while, you get older and older, you try out different things. Then it's like, oh, this one is better for me. I'll stick to this. But then after a while, when you experimented enough, you know that is my style.
Yeah, beautiful.
And even though people will tell you, hey, you look good in this, but it's like, something's not right. It's not me. So same thing, you need to try, and then there is that immediate feedback that, hey, I feel alive, I feel energized. This is something right.
And it might take time.
A lot of time.
And it's important to not feel pressured by society's ideal timeline, and instead trust your own timeline, so that you would allow yourself the safe space to find that joy. Because it's so hard to trust and to listen to that joy when you try to please everybody else.
Exactly.
So I like what you say about energize.
Yeah, but there's no timeline, that's the thing. Some people will find it in the third job. Some people will find it, like me, in the 32nd job.
And who knows 10 years from now? We don't know.
I might be doing something different, but I know that I've already kind of like known these are the fires I have. It will be roughly around there. It doesn't change to suddenly I go back to insurance and all that. It will never be there. I think one thing that just keeps coming back for me is this thing called personal development. How do I grow the fastest? How do I hack success? What is the fastest way to reach a certain level of expertise? I'm always intrigued by that, and I'm always intrigued by personal development. So you give me time alone, I will read up personal development, I will watch shows on personal development. Nobody has to force me.
That's how you know when you do it in your free time.
Exactly. So if you know you gravitate towards it, one good exercise is if you go to a library, what books do you gravitate towards? What books do you, when you pick up, you can't stop. 2 hours just fly by. Those are the books, those are the fire that's already inside. You don't know where it comes from, because even for me and my sibling, my brother, we have very different fires. So you just have it, but you need to go and discover it.
Beautiful. So I think that this is where I want to have you lead the audience through an activity, because you have found that fire to fan, and you've been through so many different jobs. How can we lead our audience? How can we lead all of you guys to try to find that fire within them?
Okay, so when it comes to this thing, I can also call it passion, but passion is too vague. So I break it down to a few things. One of the main things about passion is this thing called strengths. We're going to do a small, very simple exercise where you can understand what your strengths are, and when you know your strengths, you will know, like, this is one pillar of my passion. You should gravitate and go towards jobs that do this. Okay, so everybody ready? So if you do it on a white piece of paper and all that, one side is energized and one side is drained. So two things, energize and drain. And I want you to write down as many things as possible, either in your job or if you're in university, you're in a club or whatever it is, any task that you have that energize you, that you look forward to that task. So give you an example for me, when it comes to anything designing, I look forward to it. So I'll write down designing stuff. It could be brochures, could be anything. Another thing that I'm really energized doing, anything to do with personal development. So I'm energized about like coaching people. When I coach people, I'm energized. So think of tasks that you do or meetings that you attend is like, hey, this meeting, I look forward to it. That's all the energize. Okay? And then the other part, which is the drain, every meeting or every task that drains the life out of you. So for example, for me, if you ask me to go into a meeting about finances, drains the life out of me. So, or budget planning drains the life out of me. So write down tasks that number one energizes you and then the other one is drains you. And some of you, when you see that, when you start writing down, you will realize that, hey, actually some things in my drain is the very things that people say I'm good at. That is a false, it's something false, and it's almost like a lie. Because the things that drain you is actually your weaknesses. So a lot of times when I coach senior directors and all that, they're in a job that they don't like, but they've grown, they've got promoted so much to a point where, oh, my boss say I'm good at it, give me more opportunities. My boss say I'm good at it, give me more opportunities. After 20 years, they're somewhere where they can close their eyes, they do a job well, but they hate it. Right? So this activity, energize and drain, anything that you write down in the energize, you want to look at it and you want to understand that, hey, those are the things that in your future career, that's going to be the one that will lead you to that fulfillment, joy, happiness. Yeah. And that's where, once you have that, you can start to say that, okay, I'm going to perform at my level best. Because if you have no performance, nobody's going to pay you. So passion alone doesn't cut it. You need world-class performance. But of all the things, what do you go into? You go into things that you already have a fire. And then you will grow faster and you will be more diligent. That means at 7 p.m., 12 midnight, you're still researching on things. Why? Because that fire is there. It doesn't lose steam. It doesn't go off.
I have one question to ask you, which is, sometimes when you're in your job, in your current job, to make money, right?
Yep.
You're so tired, you're so drained after that, you might have a fire, but like physically, you're like dead, right? Then what happens is you kind of just chill, you sit on the couch, you watch TV, and then the next day happens over and over again. Probably there's a fire there, but too tired really. What would your advice be to people like that?
So the funny thing about when you know your strengths and you know your passion, when you do it, energy comes back into your life. So it is, I would like to say that almost strength is an unlimited source of energy that you just want to do it. It's almost like a marathon runner. He loves running marathons, but once he finishes the marathon, he's tired physically, but inside he's energized. And that helps him to like, okay, let's go for the next one. So I'll say that if you're really tired in your job and all that, try to find areas where you can actually hone your skills in areas where you're energized. And I like to say that all of us here have a golden 5 hours, 7 p.m. to 12 midnight. When you're not in your job, that you can start to pursue your passion. You have 5 hours where you shouldn't be watching Netflix if you are really going into your passion. You shouldn't be chilling. But if you live that life and you want to just chill and all that, then just understand that your career or whatever you really want has to take a 10-year backseat, 20-year backseat, and it might never come. But if you're like, die, I must know what my passion is, like me. So when I was working, I was doing logo design at night. And I was doing logo design and I was just trying out 7 p.m. to 12 midnight to a point where I have carpal tunnel on my right hand now.
Oh my God.
Because I was doing it this way, which is really stupid, right? So ergonomically, never put your mouse like that. But I did so many hours, it didn't really feel like work, and yeah. So you have that time is whether or not you want to sacrifice certain things and at what cost do you want to figure out your calling. For me, it was a non-negotiable. I must figure out what I am because for me, because I just cannot go to work and then says, okay, I'll just check in, check out, be good at my job, go back unfulfilled. Cannot. Yeah, just for me. You are the only one that knows your best next career move. Don't leave it to your boss, don't leave it to your colleagues. Yeah. So things that energize you are the ones that, the funny thing about it, Ray, things that energize you, it doesn't change over time.
Okay, can you share what is the benefit of finding your strengths and finding that passion, that fulfillment?
Yeah.
How does it feel? What is the benefit of that? I'm speaking to people who might feel okay in their job, you know, but they have that hint that, hey, I think there's something out there. I don't know if it's worth it to chase it. So what's the benefit? Sell it on us. Sell it to us.
Yeah. So I think all of us have different seasons in your life. If you have a season where you have a lot of financial burden and responsibility, then be wise about it. Don't say like, hey, suddenly like, hey, just go and try something. But understand that if you don't follow something that you know that you're built to do, it's almost like you're an eagle that has been running your entire life. Or you're an ostrich that has been trying to fly. The eagle must fly, the ostrich must run. And somehow or rather, it's built into them. We can see it in the physical aspect. For us, human beings, I cannot see your strength when I look at you. It is in the task that you do. But when you do that, you come alive. Alive means what? When you go back home, you have more energy. When you're less irritable. When you think about, am I having a good life? Most likely you will say yes. So there is a lot of meaning when it comes to following what you know that you're built to do, and going all the way up to this thing called calling. That means you are where you should be. But there's a fight, and the fight is in finding out. So some of you will find it in 3 jobs, if you're very lucky. If you're not, then 10 jobs. But I guarantee you, if you do not give up, you will find it. And the whole world will be looking at you strangely and like, my goodness, you just gave up this for that? Why? But after a while, something inside you'd be like, you don't want to be at 80 years old looking back and like, actually I was very good at design. I could have gone already. And the whole idea is that you are a unique individual, and I firmly believe that all of us here, we can be the king or queen to one mountain. All of us here, there's a mountain waiting for you. You can be the king or queen. And there are a lot of other mountains. And for other people will be a king or queen in that mountain, but you need to find your own. And you find your own, I guarantee you, once you hit that passion, then you gear up into performance. That means, am I good enough? Does the world think I'm good enough? Will the world pay me to do that? Because if you don't have performance after that passion, it's a hobby.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jason,
most welcome,
for being with us here today and for sharing really practical tips, but also inspiring us to find our own mountain and not take advice from people standing on their own mountain. Find people that support you and truly want the best for your development.
Thank you.
Thank you.